Good evening, everyone out there on the Kaslo Sourdough Facebook page. Hey, it's Jeanette Martin, brand ambassador for this incredible pasta company, coming to you live from my quaint little cottage in South Langley. Hey, what did you guys do today? I got out and I went for a walk. And according to my Fitbit, I'm at 9,300, almost 9,400 steps for today. So even though it was kind of rainy, a little bit cold, I got out because it's so important to get out and go for a walk. We can definitely all go out for a walk. And if you have an opportunity, if you see somebody, of course, keep that social distance of a minimum of 6 feet or 2 meters, depending on where you're watching us from. So tonight, are you ready to get a little crazy? It's Friday night. This is a dish that, hey, why not make it? It could cool and then have it for tomorrow or maybe Sunday night if you're going to have a special family meal over this incredible sweet, savory kind of Kugel. So this is a spiraling Kugel noodle. So just to say what a Kugel is, I've got my tablet up here, so I'm going to read from it. So after intense debate that a noodle Kugel should be naked or cereal top, so crumbly topping. I'm not doing like a cereal topping on mine. Wide noodles or extra wide? No, we're going to spiral. We're going a little crazy tonight. Custardy, sweet, savory, pudding-like, airy-like. This one's going to turn out a little airy, custardy-like. So I'm just going to grab my phone and, each time I get a little better, and I will show you, hopefully. This is how I've got my counter set up. I've got all my utensils that I'm going to need. I've got my recipe. I've got my little baking dish. If you tuned in yesterday, this is the same dish that I used for the quadruple smoky mac and cheese. I've got an orange that I'm going to be doing some zest into the Kugel. The Kaslo sourdough pasta semolina millet. The reason why I chose this one, this is a very light tasting pasta, and I think it's going to accept all these big bold flavors that I'm going to show you in a second. And this, which you see, is enough for making for 2 people. And when I go through the recipe, I'll be telling you how much to do if you're going to be doing it for a family of 4. This is what 4 ounces dried of the pasta looks like. You would use 16 ounces if you're going to be doing this for a family of 4. I've got a 1/4 pound of sour cream. This is an organic sour cream. I didn't quite have a 1/4 pound of feta, and the recipe calls for cottage cheese or ricotta. I don't have that, so we're going to substitute the feta. I've pre-cooked my noodles, so this is what that 4 ounces looks like cooked. I did it to 4 minutes, knowing again that this is going to cook some more in my toaster oven. I've got some organic icing sugar, coconut icing sugar. That's what I keep in my house. It called for regular sugar, but this is what I had, and it's going to work. It called for some vanilla, so all I have is the organic vanilla powder, so that's what I'm going to use. And then it wanted some cinnamon. I had some pumpkin pie spice, so that's pumpkin pie spice. I'm going to put some prunes in mine that they say use raisins or currants. I don't have that, but I have some prunes. So there's 5 prunes in there that I cut up. We're going to use 2 eggs, a little bit of butter, and just because it's Friday night, I've got a little secret Bailey's Irish cream in there. So let's get Kugeling. So I see I've got a couple of people watching. Oh, sorry guys. Thank you so much for your patience while I figure this all out. I should order one of those like stand-up sticks. But you know what? I don't want to tax our small package system. We need to make sure we keep that open for medical supplies right now. So let's get Kugeling. So basically what we're going to start with first of all is what they call a custard. So we start with our eggs. Crack 2 eggs into the bowl. Hey, let me know where you are out there. If you have any questions, let me just bring this over here so you can see. I just have my ingredients out, so it was a little bit easier for me to show you earlier. So I'm going to whip this up quite well, probably for a good 30, 40, 50 seconds. I want to make sure the egg is very well blended so I don't have any little stringy bits in my custard. Get that well mixed in. This is going to go super fast, guys. So like the recipe normally calls for in a traditional kugel, let me just put that over there. It calls for a long noodle. And they say that a kugel can be made with a noodle kugel or a potato kugel. So, you know what? Kaslo makes these fun spirals, so why not use the fun spirals? So now to this nicely whipped egg, I'm going to add, the recipe called for a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. For when I took the recipe and divided it by 4, so a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Because I'm using the feta cheese, I'm not going to use as the recipe said, because I'm thinking in my head that's salty. I don't need to add all that salt. And of course in my butter, I've got a little bit of salt as well. So this is, maybe 1/8 teaspoon of pink Himalayan salt. This is 1/8 cup of that coconut icing sugar. I'm just going to break it up a bit. This is going to add a very nuttier flavor to it. Still some nice sweetness to it. A little caramely flavor to it. Going to add, the next up is, it called for a teaspoon of cinnamon. Because I divided this by 4, I've got a 1/4 teaspoon of my pumpkin pie spice. And I've got, I like the vanilla. It called for a teaspoon of vanilla. I went a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, even though this is just for 2. Vanilla powder. And in that goes. These are all things that I have in my pantry. So I'm just going to blend those items up. Give it a nice whip as well. So you can substitute if you like cardamom. If you like cinnamon, some nutmeg, some ginger, or if you had a chai spice, that would be very nice in this. And I know some of my friends are watching or let's say they've liked the Kaslo sourdough pasta page. So if you're on, give me a thumbs up or something like that, because I'm having a lot of fun tonight. I live by myself, and this is my entertainment to entertain you from my kitchen to your kitchen. So let me know. So I've whipped that up. And now the butter calls for a teaspoon of melted butter. I'm not going to use all of this. I got a little extra because I'm going to put it around my pan as well, because I don't want it to stick. Oh, I'm going to eyeball it. Oh, that looks good. A little bit of butter. And I want to thoroughly blend that in. Oh, it's smelling so good. It's smelling a little bit like Christmas in here. So the little secret, this is 1 ounce of Irish cream liqueur. It's only me, myself, and I here. And plus, the flavor will be there, and any of the alcohol will kick out. Look, my crazy spatula is not big enough to get it all out, because I want to get it all out. Okay. Give that a whip. Okay, move that to the sink. Going to add in the sour cream. This is a full fat sour cream, organic sour cream, Olympic. Oh, and you know what? I didn't bring my bar. What have I said for like every day? Always have a bar cloth, and I forgot mine today. So I'll be right back. It's important for a chef to always have a bar cloth. Okay, I'm gonna crumble the feta cheese in. This is a goat feta cheese that I had. Pretty soon I'm gonna have to go to the grocery store. But I still have a lot of cheese, different cheeses in my fridge. So I'm just crumbling that up, and of course I did wash my hands for the 20 seconds before we started. I'm gonna wash my hands again. I'm going to take out my whip, and now I'm going to continue to mix it up with my spatula. Make sure that's mixed. Oh, you know what? I'm going to come back to my my spatula. So I have to make sure the sour cream gets well mixed in there. So basically we're building a cold custard. And if you can kind of see the consistency of it, even if I had the cottage cheese or the ricotta, it would be very similar in the batter or liquid texture. So now I just want to add a little bit of freshness. I love, you know, lemon zest, lime zest, orange zest. And I think with the prune and orange is really good together. The orange and the feta cheese, knowing this is going to be a little bit sweeter to kind of go with that saltiness. And this is called a rasp. I've used it, I think, a couple of times this week. And it's quite sharp, so careful. And I'm just going to find a place that I have not used before on my orange. And I want, for me, maybe not much. And you'll see it's kind of left in the back of the rasp. So I want to make sure I get all that out. And that gets mixed in. Okay, now I'm going to go to my spatula because it's very well mixed in. So this is 5 prunes that I had in my cupboard. It's the only dried fruit that I have in my house right now. So I just basically took the 5 prunes, gave it a cut up, probably about the size of, well, half a penny, I guess. And I know we're not even making pennies anymore. So in that goes. And knowing that the coconut sugar is not as sweet, I find, as the as regular sugar, and the prunes are going to be very sweet as well. So you could even cut back on some of the sugar on this, or you could even try it without the sugar because the sweetness of the prunes. Okay, so that's pretty easy there. In goes my noodles that, like I said, I cooked them for 4 minutes because I know they're going to further cook inside the liquidy custard here. Liquidy custard. Okay. This is super, super fast. You could also use grated apple in this, dried cranberry, dried blueberries, dried cherries. You could try a lot of different fruits in it. You can do, on second thought, like pineapple, papaya, mango. They're very watery type fruits unless it was dried. This liquid that's coming. So I have my pan. Hey guys, I lost connection there for a second, so hopefully I didn't lose anybody. It's kind of rainy out here, so hopefully that's good. I'll get this in really quickly. So I took a little bit of that butter and I'm buttering the inside of. Oh, I'm back. You know what? We're going to have to go a little quick. For some reason, my internet connection to my little cottage is not going very well. So I'm just going to show you. This is what the batter looks like. I'm going to put it into the pan and bake it at 350 for about 45 to 50 minutes. And I will post. Oh, that was not a very good angle. I will post a picture when the Kugel, the spiraling semolina millet noodle Kugel comes out. So enjoy your weekend. I will see you back on Monday at 5 o'clock for another crazy recipe that I'm coming up with. Any comments, questions, want the recipe? You know what, let me go really quickly. If you're going to do this recipe for a family of, say, 4 to 6, you're going to need, I'm going to do this in imperial. This is bad, and I live in Canada. It should actually be in metric. But you're going to need 16 ounces of noodles, of any type of the noodles from Kaslo sourdough will work. You're going to need half a teaspoon of salt. You're going to need a half a cup of butter. You're going to need half a cup of sugar. You're going to need 8 eggs. You're going to need 1 pound of ricotta cheese or cottage cheese. I used feta. That's what I had. You're going to need 1 pound of sour cream. You're going to blend it all together, and you're going to use a little bit of whatever spices that you want to use. So I used my fresh orange zest in there. I used a little Irish cream in there. I used some vanilla powder in there, and I used some pumpkin pie spice. So hang on, let's see if my internet will stay, and I'll show you in the pan. This is so raw. In the pan it goes. Oh my gosh, this is probably going to be enough for like 4 meals when I take a look at it. If you want the recipe, I just went on to Bon Appetit, Bon Appetit's website, and it was their noodle kugel recipe, and I took the recipe and I divided it in 4. It'll slide out. It's going to go into the oven, my little toaster oven at 350 degrees for 45-50 minutes. I want it well set up. I want a little bit of crispness on this, and then I'll make sure I take a picture and post it afterwards. So get spiraling, get crazy with a noodle kugel using Kaslo sourdough pasta. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a great weekend.